I suppose, well, I first came across Richard Attenborough like most people do on screen. But I subsequently got to know him originally through his family actually, because it so happened that his daughter ended up working with me many, many years ago, and I became a close friend of the family, and I'm godmother to his grandson. My first connection with Embrace Arts, or the Richard Attenborough Centre, was when I was working at the University of Warwick down the road in Coventry, where I was the director, and a team of people from Leicester came across to talk to us about how you run an arts centre and what the possibilities were for running an arts centre on a university campus, which was interesting. And then I didn't hear anything about it. And then obviously many years later, or not many years later, a few years later, I heard that they managed to get the money together, with the support of Richard, and got this fantastic facility opened. And then coincidentally, nothing to do with Richard, I was approached by the University of Leicester to do some work here on the Arts Centre, helping them look forward, helping them develop their plans, helping them get to the next stage in their development. So this was actually just when I was leaving running art centres myself and becoming a consultant. So it was my first consultancy. And it just so happened completely coincidentally that I ended up here. It was absolutely nothing to do with Richard, it was to do with the University of Leicester. But it was a joy working here, and it was lovely having that contact with him through another angle. And then over the years, both my connection with Richard Attenborough Centre and Embrace Arts has continued, and they've asked me back to do a number of other things, and my contact with Richard has continued over that time. So there's sort of two strands running through my knowledge of Richard. One is a consummate professional, someone who gives 110% isn't enough to say what Richard gives to anything, any project that he gets involved in. It's more like 150, 200%. He is so passionate, so enthusiastic, and so generous. And the other aspect of him is his warmth. He is unbelievably warm. You always feel like you are the only person in the room when he's talking to you. And it's an extraordinary knack to have. I've rarely seen people work a room like Richard does. He remembers everybody's name, he remembers something about them, what they do. If he doesn't remember their name, he calls them darling, and that's it never sounds insincere from him. It's absolutely, his tone is just spot on. And I've come across very few people in my life that have that sort of connection with people of all levels and all types. I mean, he will talk to anyone in any capacity with the same warmth. He doesn't stand on ceremony. It's nothing to do with, I'm the director, I'm the producer, and I only talk to people that I should be connecting with. People always have such warm memories of him. It's lovely. And seeing him with his family is also lovely, because there's a wonderful warmth within the family. And it's that sort of patriarch, that feeling. But he has a particularly supportive wife. Sheila is amazing. They have a fantastic partnership, and I think that's been really important to Richard being able to achieve what he's done professionally and keep all those balls in the air, because as well as the big projects, the visible ones, there have been so many below the radar type projects where he's sitting on a board, or more normally chairing it, or he's undertaken to raise money for things. I've never quite understood how he manages to get everything done, because there are only 24 hours in the day. But because as I said before, he gives so much to anything he takes on, and boy, has he taken on a lot. I mean, there were a number of organisations that would be significantly poorer places without his involvement. And he's not there just for the short term, he's there for the long haul. He stays really interested in projects that he's been involved in and wants to know what's happening. Even if he's not in a position necessarily now to go and visit regularly, he wants to know what's going on, which I think is a fantastic attitude for someone to have had over such a long period of time. He never sits back and says, okay, I don't need to do that anymore, that's sorted, I'll move on, or I can forget about that. There always seems to be a sense of, no, I'm going to stick with this, and I want to maintain contact with it. And therefore he has an awful lot of of people around him, of friends, because he just stays connected to people. I think that people will take different legacies away from their relationship with Richard. It may be he changed my life because he supported some initiative I was involved in at some point in my career. It may be the work on screen he did inspired me to do X. It may be that I think that one of the most glorious things about Richard is that humanity, that however successful you become, however many awards you are given, that you can still connect with ordinary people and people from a wide variety of backgrounds. And I think if those people that have had the opportunity to meet him or to be engaged on one of the projects that he's worked on will take that away with them, that there's the sense of their value because he has recognised their contribution to something or their potential. And I think his ability to recognise people's potential and to champion their contribution rather than his own is fairly unusual, fairly unique in that big bucks major movie world. And I think the other thing for those of us that have seen him in a variety of fields is that ability to take on work that you don't get paid for, voluntary work. The concept of committing to a community, of putting back into society, is something which it's come from his parents, his family. It's the way he was brought up, and he's instilled that in his children and the rest of the family. But I think it's something that is really unusual in the 21st century in Western Europe, that sense of a commitment to put back as more than you take out. So I think that would probably be how I would remember Richard, as someone who put in much more than they took out. And he took out a lot in that he achieved fantastic things, but what he put in was even greater.